All right. Is everyone here? Ants.
Yes, sir!
Roaches.
Yeah, what of it?
Rodents.
Let's get this cheese!
All right, come on, everyone. Settle down, please. Look, we all know why we're here. We'll be eating like queens when we're through with this. That pantry's finally ours. Nobody can stop us now. Charge! No, there's no way. It can't be. It's Old Colony! Old Colony Pest Control. Veteran-owned Massachusetts, Rhode Island-based operation with everything you could dream of for your pest needs. Equipped with top-of-the-line gear to guarantee your home is protected and staying healthy. Phone number is 774-400-5993. Give them a call for the backup you need. Tell them that General Red Revere sent you. They handle anything from ants, roaches, ticks, mosquitoes, rats, and more.
No wildlife or termites at this time.
Hey, watch it, buddy. We're marching.
We begin in the Pendleton Whiskey Buck and Shoot.
Ryan Solo has a lot of intensity.
The kick on this one.
Yeah.
Get to the ace. Come on. All day long.
A better job, a better home, a better life. Who hasn't wished for these things, worked for them, and sought a place where they had a better chance of becoming real? For generations, Brockton has welcomed those seeking something better. From those who came in search of opportunity to today's multicultural population that makes us the most diverse community in all of New England. Brockton is a place where homes are more affordable, communities closer, where a strong and talented workforce fuels the success of businesses big and small, and the vision of a more diverse and equitable America is being realized every day. It's where ideas take root, businesses grow, communities thrive, new beginnings unfold, and the promise of a better life is kept. Brockton, Massachusetts, where better begins.
Time to grow up. You got a problem with your self-esteem and ego. Oh, here we go again. It's time to grow up now.
Every time I see a bad chick, I lick my lips, lick my lips. Every time she move them hips, I lick my lips, lick my lips. Every time I see her with Kylie Jenner lip gloss, lick my lips, my lips, my lips, my
Yeah. What we talking about? Every day I'm great when I wake and I walk it out. No cosign, no road sign, just close blinds. So close I'm walk the streets with some dope signs.
Yeah, I'ma run it up. Why the fuck you think you flexing with $100? Yeah. Can I talk to you for a second?
This is Motion with Freda.
Yeah, you see me. Bring it, come get me. Ass fat, but the waist on slimming.
Quisiera estar contigo y recordar de nuevo todo lo que hicimos, cuánto nos queremos.
I came to do the damn thing, cause I do the damn thing, so I guess the damn thing is getting done. I ain't popping champagne, this ain't a campaign, I ain't running, no, actually you should run. No comparing, clearly you can't hang, such a damn shame, man, you ain't never won. Life ain't a fair game, I'm just an airplane flying through, maybe you should see if you can get you one.
We're out of time. Don't say goodbye.
You cut me off, you son of a b****. Get the hell out that car. Get the hell out right now. I'm gonna tear you a new. Come on, get out. I'm gonna beat the. Hey, I didn't know it was you.
Caught in the crossfire.
To all you bitches that got a man, we don't need y'all posting y'all Valentine's Day picture online. Keep that mess to yourself. Well, let people be happy and in love. It's not our fault your vagina is full of cobwebs.
Happy Side Chick Awareness Day. This is to let y'all know that he'll never leave his wife for you.
I don't celebrate that satanic holiday. My only relationship is with the Holy Spirit. Ashananaboba. Spoken like a lonely, butterfaced, bald-headed that hasn't busted a in a long time. This goes out to everybody that has a Valentine's this year. Just because he buys you flowers doesn't mean he's cheating on you.
Half of y'all posting all these Valentine's Day pictures are only doing it for clout. Y'all ain't even in love, not even in lust. Y'all just want some likes and views.
Well, let's ask the petty audience what they think. How do y'all feel about Valentine's Day? Comment below. And if you're celebrating Valentine's Day, make sure you use a condom. You don't want to end up with a bump on your tongue or your genitalia. Bye, bitches.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
This is blasphemy. This is madness. This is the proof.
Come on. That's what you do. Get you some Grayson Cole.
He wanted to ride tonight in Reading, Pennsylvania. Let's ride with him. Let's win the whole damn thing. Velocity Tour Finals. Let's get it done tonight. Come on, Grayson Cole. Hey! Wow.
All right, it's your boy Sinister One broadcasting live from the City of Champions. You are watching The Booth. It is February 14th, Valentine's Day. And you know what? I actually got two great guests on the show tonight. Before I get into my first guest, you guys see he's on the road right now. He's on his way to his next event. I'm going to introduce him, but I got to get into my sponsors. Michael Douglas Barreto, MDB Electronics. You guys know I'm a big gamer. I was at the Call of Duty Championships last weekend. He had a great time at the Call of Duty Majors. Michael Douglas Barreto, that's my guy. If you got a controller that drifts or pisses you off and it's broken, you send it out to him. He has it fixed for you within 24, 48 hours, and you're back to gaming. But if you're a good gamer anyway, you should have a spare. Available now, Veana Marie, who's also on this show tonight. Her album just came out in August. It's Personal is the name of the album. The whole album is fire. Make sure to check it out. It's available now. Tactical Target Systems. Since you guys know I'm a big fear of the zombie apocalypse, when I go to the range, y'all know I got them zombie targets that are fresh. Everybody loves them. Everybody's asking me where I got them zombie targets from when I'm at the range. Tactical Target Systems is where I go to get those targets. Because trust me, I'm going to be Rick Grimes. I'm not going to be the guy that's dead in the first 5 minutes of the zombie apocalypse. I got to get my skills on point. Got to get my headshots on point. I love BostonSports.com. Those fresh-ass t-shirts that we give away to everybody who watches the show. Good stuff. Check them out. I love BostonSports.com. Before I get into the news booth, my first guest is on the line. He's on the road right now, headed to his next event. And if you guys remember, back in 2011, your boy Sinister One, I was actually invited out by the PBR. We went down to Hartford, Connecticut for the Invitational, and we actually checked out the Professional Bull Riders event. And I had never covered PBR before. Never covered it, but I had a good friend, Frank Zanowski, Z-Man, who's going to be on this show. He had taught me all about it. He was actually doing this little podcast about it. And we were able to go down and meet these guys. And that year, when we went down, Fabiano Vieira, he went 5 for 5 that weekend. It was a huge weekend for him. He was only 29 years old. He went 5 for 5. He was chasing Savannah Alves that year. That top 5 was actually decimated by injuries. There was a ton of injuries towards the end of that season. And it was a great time. I got to meet these guys, and some of these guys, I'll tell you right now, I've covered football. You know, I've been down at New England Patriots camp. I've been down there with those guys. I've interviewed Julian Edelman. I've interviewed MMA fighters from Joe Lozon to John Doomsday Howard to just some of the legends in MMA. But I'll tell you right now, these PBR guys are some tough SOBs, man. And up in the left corner here, I'm going to let my man introduce himself right now. Because everybody's asking. If you go on the internet, everybody's asking, who is this kid right now? Let them know, man. Tell them who you are.
I'm Grayson Cole, and I'm from Pennsylvania.
And you holding it in Pennsylvania. And I got to ask, because we all know what went down Sunday. Are you an Eagles fan being from Pennsylvania?
I don't even watch football.
Oh, okay. So you're not mad like everybody was at the bad call that robbed the Eagles from...
Nope, didn't even know about it.
So my man Grayson Cole, he's on this show. He is a PBR rider, bull rider. And, you know, one of the things is I like to give these guys... Hold on, let me get their logo up here. Boom. Get that nice PBR logo in there for them. One of the things about the PBR is that we have the bull riders. Yes, they go out there. They got to do what they got to do for the 9 seconds. The thing is that the bulls are the stars of the show. Why? Because the bulls can kick their ass. But Grayson is here. He's actually on his way to San Antonio, Texas for the Cedar Park Shootout, which is taking place in Cedar Park in Texas. But you guys got this event coming up that's going to be here on the 25th, the Worcester Rumble. And just tell them about yourself, because I know everybody on the internet after this past weekend, which you guys just showed the clip of you took home back-to-back wins here in Pennsylvania, and you look pretty stoked about it, man. Tell us about it. Tell people about yourself.
Yeah, so I grew up in Pennsylvania. Ever since I was 3, my parents took me to rodeos. My parents didn't rodeo or anything, and I wanted to ride bulls. Got on my first calf when I was 7, fell in love with it, and then it just kind of took off from there. But yeah, these past 2 weeks, I got a win in North Charleston, South Carolina, which was the first one of the year for me. And then going to Reading, I grew up 20 minutes from there. So going into Reading, I was really, really wanting to win it. It put a lot of pressure on myself to be able to win it, but it all worked out, and I came home with the win, so I was really happy.
And you got these back-to-back wins looking real good. And, you know, you guys, he was just talking about, you know, how he started off riding. And, you know, I heard that at 4, you was busting mutton, which is like riding sheep. And then you went on at 7 to riding calves. But it was funny because I heard you say one time that you really got your start riding your dog. And then I also had read that you had got some practice riding bulls by riding a unicycle. What's up with that?
So, yeah, I started riding the dog. We used to rent a barn near us, and we had a horse or 2. And then they had a big dog at their farm, and I would literally just jump on that thing and ride it everywhere. The thing would go nuts. It was awesome. But, yeah, so the unicycle, it goes for balance. So a lot of our key for bull riding is major and balance. So I would honestly put my gear bag, because we have a gear bag carry all of our stuff. I would put my gear bag on my shoulders and ride the unicycle down to the bucking chutes. Like, that's how good I was at it. I haven't rode it in a while. It's been a couple of years probably, but it helped me a lot.
Damn, and you know what? It shows, because I was watching the clips of you from these past 2 weekends, and I actually watched all 3 of your rides from this past weekend that happened in Reading, Pennsylvania. And dude, it was some solid riding. And a lot of people on the internet, on your Instagram, they were applauding you. Like I said, everybody's asking, who is this kid, Grayson Cole? I mean, you've been around in the PBR since like 2021, but you're really right now are coming into your own. You're kind of making this name for yourself. And, you know, it's one of the things that's exciting to follow, because you're still a young kid, you know, and you're here and you're doing this. So kind of tell us something that people don't know about Grayson Cole.
I have a receding hairline. I mean, I'm 23 and I'm losing hair. I don't like it, but yeah, that's about the only thing people don't know. I do a lot of interviews and everything, and I'm pretty much an open book. I own bulls. I work for a rodeo company when I'm not on the road, which anymore I'm usually on the road just about every day. So haven't been working for the rodeo company too often, but the bull riding's been paying off really well right now. So
yeah, I mean, it said here you took home 6,100 in the winnings for Pennsylvania and 5,700 in North Charleston. But, you know, you're on the road, you got to pay, you know, it's like the MMA fighters, you know, all that goes right back into the training, right back into the traveling, you know. So everybody thinks, oh yeah, he's making a ton of money. It's like, yeah, but I got to fend for myself, people.
Yep. Hotels, food, gas, oil changes on my poor car.
Man, oh man, oh man. And you know what? Like I said before, these guys are some of the toughest SOBs. You know, you're only out there on that bull for a little amount of seconds. But tell people how long that feels, that short amount of time. Tell them how it feels to you being on that bucking bull like that.
For us, it feels, you would think with the more experience, it feels shorter, but each time it feels longer and longer every time. But in the moment, we're loving every bit of it, unless it comes to an end really fast.
And I talk about the bulls being the stars, and you know, you guys have these chances in the weekends to ride some of the toughest bulls. Is there any bull that you haven't rode this season that you kind of got your eye on and say, man, I can't wait till I get to ride this one?
There's one that Cord McCoy hauls. His name's Tulsa Time. I've been on him at a pro rodeo last summer, and that was the first time I got on him. But he's usually on the UTB tour, and I'm hoping to get up there and hopefully draw him at one of their shows once I'm up at that level. But his name is Tulsa Time. He is a sweet bull out of the right, should go right and then come back around the left. But he is really, really cool.
And one of the things I know, there's a lot of people, you see the comments and stuff like that. And I'm just going to let people know, these bulls are, they're, like I said, when I say these bulls are the stars of the show, the bulls are the stars of the show. We got to go behind scenes the last time we went, the 2 times we went. And I'll tell you right now, these bulls are treated sometimes better than some of the riders on the tour. It's insane, dude, right?
They honestly are. I used to own I had 20 head of bulls at one time, but then once I started getting more on the road, I sold most of them. I only have 5. Well, I had 4, but then I just bought one Sunday to compete with. I bought a 2-year-old futurity calf to buck and compete with and hopefully make some money. But yeah, I treat them like they're somebody's dog. Like, my bulls are my babies. I love them to death. I love everything about the bulls. I've wanted bulls since I was a kid. So, funny story. For my 8th birthday, my mom had a choice because my one friend had a pet bull that was just like a gentle bull. He was nice, but they were going to give it to me as a present to start getting a better feel of bull riding, like just ride the thing around the yard since it was pretty much like a horse. But it was between that and a cat, and my mom got me the cat. I was very upset.
I can imagine.
yeah.
I can imagine.
I was not a happy camper.
So you have a lot of experience with bulls. So my question is to you, when you're raising these bulls and breeding these bulls and and they're getting of age, how do you know that a bull is going to be competition, what they're looking for as far as competition goes? How do you know how long does it take to figure that kind of out?
So we buck the bulls with a dummy that weighs about 13 pounds. It's an electronic dummy. There's a switch on it that it releases whenever we want it to. It's pretty much like a remote control. We just strap it on them like it's a bull rider. And we buck them as weanlings. So that's like 2 or 3 months after they get taken off their mom. We'll put 1 trip on them, which is like 1 or 2 seconds just to see if they want to decide to buck or not. Barely put any flank. We pretty much just hang everything on them really loose, see if they want to do it on their own. And then we let them sit for a little while. And then as yearlings, you kind of put a couple more trips on them. So that's 1 year old as a yearling. They'll start getting hauled a little bit more to dummy competitions. Or if you have one that needs to mature a little bit, you'll just let them sit. 2-year-olds, they're still with the dummies. And they kind of get hauled a little bit more, starting to get more seasoned. The dummy stays on them as yearlings, it stays on them for 4 seconds. As 2-year-olds, depending on the competition, it's either 4 seconds or 6 seconds. And then as 3-year-olds, usually around springtime, maybe wintertime, as coming 3-year-olds, we start to put riders on them as long as they're big enough in size.
So it's like a 3-year process. So you by the 3rd year, you kind of know that this is going to pan out. This is going to be a good bull that's going to be bucking well, and that's good to know. Because I've always wondered, I'm like, man, you ever have a bull that's like, oh man, I'm not doing this?
Yeah, it definitely happens. I mean, there's some bulls that, like, as babies, they don't buck with a dummy. Just like they'll either just jump kick down the pen and not even think about turning back. But then you put a rider on them where they can feel the rider and have the spurs, have something grabbing them and have a connection. It kind of makes them buck a little bit more. So some dummy calves, like really good dummy calves, don't make good rider bulls, but then some bad dummy calves make good rider bulls. It's all just kind of a gamble.
Wow. And for you, what bull has been your scariest ride? What's the bull that you've been like, damn, that of all your rides?
Probably Big Black Cat from Chad Berger. I've been on him 3 times, all at UTB events at the Unleash the Beast. And he has either jerked me down on top of his head or stepped on me or something every time. The last time he cut me above my eye and I had to get stitches and everything. But yeah, that one I don't like to get on.
And I know, because I like I said, I was able to go behind the scenes in the PBR. I was super surprised at how much the PBR allowed us to cover their event and how much they wanted us to see. And as I was saying, the time that we were invited out and was able to cover the event, they were under fire from PETA or something for some BS. And they wanted to be super transparent. And at that time, the gentleman who had us come out there, we told him, we just wanted, my boy Frank spoke very highly. We knew that the bulls were being taken care of, but they allowed us a lot. And then we went to the after party, and it was a whole different atmosphere at the after party.
Yeah.
You guys are a whole different breed of.
Oh yeah, we let loose.
let loose. That's an understatement, because man, I was not. And the funny thing is for those who don't know PBR, you have a lot of Brazilian riders, and a lot of those Brazilian guys, they're not 6'2", 8 like football players and a lot of the PBR riders are small, short guys. So we were hanging around with these guys from Brazil. They had us drinking with them, and these were all little guys. But as soon as they got the drinks in them, and you know how it is. You're at the after party. You got the local knuckleheads who think these short Brazilian guys, they don't realize that these dudes just got off of bucking bulls.
Yep.
These are not the guys you really want to be messing with.
No, not at all.
So I'm sure you've got some stories, and the women too. You guys got your own groupies. I was surprised. I love the whole atmosphere. And you guys put on a great ass show. Talk about a PBR event, because there's music. You've got your clowns who keep it going. And I forget the gentleman's name who was the lead clown that year when we went, and he put on a phenomenal show. He was the lead guy. He kept the crowd entertained. It's amazing. It's from top to bottom, and the event is just solid. What's it like for you to be at a PBR event?
Oh, it's as soon as we get there. I mean, it's hammer. It's just a gas pedal. You're just stepping on it through the floor. It's a party. It's a good time. You want to let loose at them. They're fun.
And I tell people it's not that expensive of a ticket. If you want to check out a professional sport that you've never really checked out before, but you want to kind of get into it, PBR, it's a nice ticket to take in. It's different. It's a different environment. I tell people to learn all their sports, to get all their sports in, because you want to be able to respect everybody's sport at the end of the day. And my hat's off to you guys, because you guys kick ass, and you guys are some of the toughest SOBs out there riding them bulls, because, man, you ain't get me on some of them bulls for 9 seconds. Hell no. So how can people follow you and find you on social media, man?
So I'm Grayson Cole on Facebook. My Instagram, I forget what it is. It's Grayson Cole 601, and there's maybe a dot or a hashtag or something in there. And then I have a TikTok. Everything's on my Instagram. That's the easiest way.
Nice. So do you cover some of the stuff you do? Do you keep it strictly PBR, or do you talk about the business side that you also have that you've got going on? Do you talk about that stuff? Because that seems pretty interesting to me.
I kind of just I'll post some of my bulls that I have, and it's mostly just my rides. And whenever I post on my Facebook stories, I'll post like a schedule where I'm going that week, or post a picture of where I'm at. I'm driving at 3 a.m. in the morning at all the time.
And again, this is a guy, Grayson Cole. Right now, if you go on the internet, everybody's asking, who is this kid? This kid's, like I said, he's been around since 2021. And yes, he's making a lot of noise. He won back-to-back these past 2 weekends. And these guys will be pulling into Worcester, DCU Center, on February 25th. Tickets are still available. You guys saw the ad before the show kicked off. And before I even get my artist in here, Veana Marie, the interview, man, I got to thank you for coming on this show. I wish you the best of luck. Safe travels to Texas. And do you have any sponsors that you want to shout out before we get you out of here?
Ross Demonsky, he's been with me for a little while now. He actually just picked me up as a sponsor. He hauls bucking bulls and everything, and he's been helping me out a lot just with mental everything.
Nice. And do you have any merch? Do you have any merch that people can grab if they want to grab it?
I did have some hats and shirts for my bucking bulls, but I don't have any in stock right now. So hopefully that'll be back up and going.
Yeah, because see, what I like to do is every week when I do my show, I like to support people. I know Matty C, he likes to support people, so we like to put shirts on for people that we want to support. So hopefully, if you can get some stuff in, hopefully before the 25th, that'd be great. But you know, like I said, it's going to be a great event. I know Matty C from Sports for You and Me is going to be down there on the 25th with his wife. And man, I wish you all the luck and kick ass this weekend down in Texas, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, people. Hey, this is Grayson Cole, PBR, February 25th. Going to take a quick break. Going to be back here in the booth with my next guest, recording artist, Veana Marie. And we are out in 3, 2, 1, back after the break.
Yeah, What? Yeah, see, I ain't ever been betrayed by an enemy. That shit is only ever come from them saying friend to me. They soul is black, soaking up all of my backup energy. I feel the drain through all the pain, depletes in its entirety. It's piracy, and any thought of reconciling blind to me. You were my people that I chose, you were my family. And didn't realize what you had, your bad need clarity. Because respect is something earned, you can't use bribery. You thought I was a sheep and I would fall in line. But a real bitch tell it like it is, that's fast as here's my time. Y'all out here out your ever loving minds. You had no idea the kind of storm of shit you would find. If you forgotten, we can go ahead and press rewind. Receipts is never something from me, never fall behind.
Alrighty. It's your boy Since the One, broadcasting live for the City of Champions. We are back here in the booth, and what a way to come into this transition. You know, I take a break. I got to thank my man Grayson Cole from the PBR from being on the show. Thank you, Grayson Cole. The 25th, they roll into Worcester, DCU. Frank Zanowski, he's in the chat. Kevin Jeffries is in the chat. Aisha May's in the chat. Linda's in the chat. Man, a lot of people in the chat tonight. I said hello to mostly everybody, all you people in the chat. Kevin Jeffries hosts the Happy Hour with Lito in the chat. Matty C in the chat. But Z-Man, big ups to Z-Man in the chat. Z-Man's going to be on the show in a couple of weeks on the 28th, him and King Jai. But Z-Man is the guy who really turned me on to professional bull riding. He's the guy that got me into it. He's the guy that, you know, turned me on to it. We went down and was able to catch a couple of these events. And I loved it. You know, and it was a great time. So I want to thank the PBR for reaching out to us and just giving us the exclusive hookup. Grayson Cole is one of the up-and-coming, right now, he's one of the up-and-coming riders. He won back-to-back weekends. And we just had him on the booth. And Matty C is going to follow up with his interview with Grayson in 2 weeks. So we killing it. Kevin Jeffries in the chat. Maggie Penny in the chat. Kevin Jeffries has asked, has V ever seen John Wick? Yep, she saw John Wick before me. So for those who are wondering what's going on with this John Wick question, I blasted Kevin Jeffries because he hadn't seen Starship Troopers. And then I went out there and I had admitted that I had never seen any of the John Wick movies. They came out too fast for me, and I wasn't able to see them. So first of all, I got to thank everybody because I was able to watch all of the John Wick movies this weekend. Why? Because
wait, you can't thank everybody. You can't thank everybody. You gotta thank the lady that hit you on Friday.
Yeah. So yeah. Maggie said everybody seen it before you. So I gotta thank the lady on Friday night. Linda says, where can I catch the PBR on the Cowboy Channel? Pluto. I believe they're on Pluto. And Frank Zanowski, if you're in the chat and you're watching, Frank, please drop that info for Linda. I actually looked up to see if they're in Florida. I looked for the next couple of months. They're not anywhere near Florida, but you want to get on the PBR website. But yeah, thank you everybody. Because I ain't gonna lie, I might not have been here this Tuesday. For real. This is for real people. So if you're tuning in, I love everybody tuning in. But for real, Friday night, I got out of work. This is a true story. Friday night, I got out of work and I said, you know what? I got to go to my barber, Corey, right down the street, 3 blocks from the house. And everybody knows my truck was totaled, so I don't have a truck, so I'm walking and taking commuter rail and all that stuff everywhere. But anyway, I walked to my barber anyway because he's 3 blocks from my house. So I'm walking to the barber. Getting ready to cross the street. Traffic stops to allow me to cross the street. There's a lady directly across from me waiting to go. I get the okay to cross. I start crossing the street. The lady across from me, she thinks that the traffic is stopped to let her go. So guess what? Yo, she hit your boy Sinister One. And I can, look, and I ain't gonna lie. Everything was in slow motion. I seen her coming at me, and she wasn't hitting the brakes. I stuck my hand out like I was gonna Jedi mind trick her car into stopping and stuck my hand out like Obi-Wan. And my knuckle, my left knuckle, which is cut right here, see it right here, gashed, went into her grill, and then she hit me. And when she hit me, everything was in slow motion. Like I rolled up on the hood, like, ooh. And when I rolled up on the hood, I could see her behind the steering wheel with her expression like, holy shit, in her face. Like, oh my God. I seen her expression, rolled over off the hood. And here's the funny thing, people. I played football when I was younger. Pop Warner football. And I injured my knee in high school and I couldn't play football no more. But I did football. I took martial arts. And let me tell you, people, what I learned in football and what I learned in martial arts is probably something that really, truly saved me from injury, because the first thing my instincts kicked in is I'm going to hit the ground. And one of the things they tell you in mixed martial arts sports, and football is if you're going to be hitting that ground on your back, throw your arms out and let your shoulders hit and keeps your head from hitting the ground. And guess what? You see that right there? My elbows are skinned up. My elbows are skinned up because that instinct kicked in. I threw my arms out when I fell back and I hit the ground. And that kept my head from hitting the ground. Once I hit the ground, I felt the pain in my knee because she hit me right in my leg, my right leg. And I'm waiting to get an MRI. But this lady, when she hit me, I'm blessed. You know, the police came, the EMTs came. The funny thing is that there was a Haitian guy. I had everybody looking at me. I'm on the ground looking up and everybody's looking at me. The first person I call is Veana and my kids. And Viana's son, Micah, he rushes down to the scene. Now, if you guys have seen Viana's son, Micah, this dude's like Warren Sapp, but he showed up on the scene. He showed up on the scene like the Flash. And he was there. Everybody was asking questions. It was all coming at me. It was all kind of overwhelming. The funny thing is that the lady who hit me, the Haitian guy who gave me the okay to cross the street, the Haitian guy was rashing on the lady who hit me because he thought she was going to take off. And y'all know how Haitian people are when they're mad. So here I am. I'm hurting. I'm screaming because my knee is done. My knee is done. But at the same time, I'm hearing this Haitian dude rash on this lady who hit me with that, that Haitian. You know how Haitians are when they serious. You know how it is when Haitians is real. You don't go where you stay. You stay right here. He said. Then there's one.
So he said all of that to say that he could watch John Wick all weekend.
All weekend. So I got hit. I got released from the hospital. I'm like, damn, what am I going to do all weekend? I can't do shit. I watched John Wick. All 3 movies, I blew right through them. All of them was good. They was all good. And let me tell you something. That John Wick 3, Halle Berry, who I love. I love me some Halle Berry. Love it. But guess what, y'all? Them dogs stole the show from Halle Berry. Look, I love her. But them German Shepherds that she had, oh, man, they were nothing to mess with. I can't wait till number 4. I can't wait till number 4 for John Wick. I don't know how I let that movie slip. I don't know how I let all 3 of the movies slip past me, but I'm glad I got it in. And again, thank you, everybody. Thank you for all the love, the calls, the inboxes. I also got to respect people who was hit because the word got out quick. that your boy got hit. The word got out quick. And the first thing when people hit me up, I'm like, yo, don't put that on Facebook. Please don't put it on Facebook, because if my dad finds out before he gets a call, there's going to be hell to pay. And those who knew and kept it off social media, thank you. And my boys stepped up. Everybody stepped up, so thank you. But I got to get into this show. I got to thank my guests from last week, Kenneth Diesenhof and Robert Resnick. Today, Grayson Cole started off the show, but my second guest who's going to hang out with me for tonight and go over some of these topics is recording out as Veana Marie. I'm going to let you say hello, Veana.
What's going on, everybody? Veana Marie here, hanging out with your boy, Sinister One. I didn't know if I was allowed to smoke weed on your show or not, because I don't think I've ever seen anybody else smoke on your show.
You know something? I think I did have somebody twist up. They didn't smoke, but I do have somebody who twisted up on my show during an interview, and I remember telling them. But no, you might be the first one to smoke. Like I said, I don't care. It's legal now in Mass. So
I know, you know what I mean.
I'm good with it.
I don't want to be disrespectful, and you know what I mean. You got an audience, so I am gonna roll up and smoke with you while we talk about these topics, because some of this shit is stressful.
Some of this stuff is stressful. She said some of the stuff we about to talk about is stressful. We talking about some stuff tonight. It's 7:30, and I got to get into this news booth. Aisha May says, I'm watching John Wick right now. Get it, because it was real. And you know what was funny about John Wick 2? Somebody hit me up and said, each one they get better and better. And I was like, I seen the first one, and I was like, come on now. How do you get better than that? And I was like, by the third one, I was like, yo. First of all, I'm a big fan of choreography. Fight choreography, gunfight choreography. I'm a big fan of the technical aspect of choreography, because if you got shitty choreography in your films, the movie's gonna suck. And I remember I actually saw a special, the making of John Wick, before I even saw all the movies, and I was like, damn, he went through a lot of training for this film. Like they wanted to make sure, and now I understand why he went through all that training, because he was this assassin. Oh, hold on. I got to play something for people who haven't seen it. Hold on here. Here we go. I got to put the spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I don't want nobody mad at me. I got to put the spoiler alert up there. Don't want nobody mad at me, but he's this assassin, but he's not only is he the assassin, he is the assassin who kills the boogeyman in this street realm, this assassin realm. And to be honest, the first movie, in the first 5 minutes, the way they set it up to let you know that he's a bad man was done great. But I digress. All I got to say is the gun choreography in this film was for movies for me, for gun choreography, it's in the top 3. John Wick, and it's in the top 3. John Wick's gun choreography blew away The Matrix, and The Matrix was one of my favorite gun choreography movies.
No, that's a stretch for me. That's a big stretch for me, because I love John Wick, but I love Keanu Reeves. From Speed, have I been in love with Keanu Reeves? Ask my aunt. I've had every Keanu Reeves poster, everything. But my issue with him now, as an adult, like as a grown-up, is that I feel like he's just the same character in different situations. He's the same character people say that. He was in Speed. It's the same, you know what I mean? It's the same swag. You know what I mean? He picks the right kind. And then if you notice in the movies where it's complete opposite, like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, he's still kind of like blasé. He's good, but that's just who he is. You know what I mean? So yeah, John Wick is awesome. Yes, all those things you talked about were definitely things that made it awesome. But it was like, he was like Neo, just in a different, you know what I mean? Like in a different plot line. With a different name. It was kind of like the same kind of movies. I liked the concept. I liked, who they made him to be. But technically he was the boogeyman, the dude that killed the boogeyman in the Matrix too.
Well, the thing for me that I really liked about John Wick intrigued me was this world of assassins that's hiding in plain sight. Like you had these homeless people who were really assassins. So when you're walking down the street and you're seeing these homeless people now, and to be honest, I watched the series. When I go to work and I see a homeless dude, the first thing I'm gonna think about when I see a homeless dude in the train station is like, damn, yo, is that one of those assassin guild people? Cause yo, you don't know who these people are. And you know, some places are hollow ground, some places, you know, I love the whole concept. I really would like to see something a little bit deeper on it, you know, because I really liked it. I like the fact that, you know, you don't know who's an assassin out there. It could be anybody.
You're right as far as the technical aspect of the choreography and the gunplay and whatnot. And my best example of a shitty movie with really great choreographed scenes, with fighting scenes, not choreographed, but choreographed fighting scenes, was do you remember the movie The Musketeer?
Yes.
So
That's a good example.
I'm in the movie theater and I'm already like in my head, I'm thinking, Jesus, this movie is going to be horrible. But whoever I was dating at the time really wanted to see it. And I was like, all right, fine, let's go. So we go. And then if you remember in the beginning, it's kind of like a Star Wars, like the way that they come down and they're telling the story. It's kind of like Star Wars. And I had said something like flipping, you know me, I'm sarcastic, something flipping like, oh, Jesus, here we go. And everybody in the theater starts laughing, right? So come to find out, we watched this whole movie. I'm the only one that actually fucking likes this movie. All right. If you've seen it, you know, the writing is horrible. It's a horrible script. They really had no business retelling that story that way. However, the fighting scenes were so amazing. It was so interesting to watch these guys basically like they were doing ballet with swords all over the place. And I was completely entertained. So I don't know. It could be like that for other people.
It was, like I said, it was good. I love me some movies, and, you know, I'm glad I was able to catch up on. But we got to get into this news booth. Here's the funny thing, people, about the news booth. Let's get into it this week. Last week I did this show. We were experiencing right around the corner from my house a 10-alarm fire at Brockton Hospital. Brockton Hospital right now is closed. Brockton Hospital is closed. Norwood is closed. And it's tough. It's tough. So, you know, we had this fire last week. That was the main news here in Brockton. This week in Brockton, the main news, if you was driving around the east side of Brockton this week, a large emu was running around Brockton loose. The emu's name is Mallory. This 4-foot emu was running around the east side of Brockton near our house. The owner, Lee Malfront, I forget the guy's name. His name is Lee. But his emo jumped a 6-foot fence and decided to take a stroll around Brockton. The Brockton Police and Animal Control had to secure it. Frank Zanowski, who's a Brockton police officer, I'm going to ask him about this next week. I'm actually going to ask him when he comes on in 2 weeks about this, because this is a funny-ass story.
I don't know why you didn't reach out to this man to come out on the show, for real.
Oh, my God. There was videos.
I can't even believe somebody in Brockton, Massachusetts owns one of these birds.
And they got the emus like up here on the east side, up by the vape shop, just on Crescent Street, up by Massasoit and stuff. It's crazy. So nice piece of news, better than fires and better than shootings. Also in the news booth, here you go, people. Here you go, people. Everybody has a right to carry a firearm. Everybody has a right to carry a firearm. There's a reason why. So like in Florida, right now in Florida's throwing all the shit out the window, and they're allowing people to just go and buy guns with no training whatsoever. Florida's got this whole constitutional carry. You can just go in the store, buy a gun, and carry it. Guess what? There are rules and regulations that you need to know about if you're a responsible gun owner. And sometimes stories like this is why you need responsible gun owners in the world, because here's a guy here. He's a lawyer, a Brazilian lawyer. Guess what, people? He's no longer with us. You want to know why he's no longer with us? because this Brazilian lawyer, who is a big Second Amendment guy, but he doesn't even live in America, he lives in Brazil. You go on his social media, he's got all these guns, he's promoting all these guns, he's talking about his right to have guns and all this crap. Guess what? This gentleman's no longer with us. You want to know why he's no longer with us? You know why Leandro is now dead at 40 years old? Because Leandro was scheduled for an MRI. Leandro went to the hospital with his firearm in his holster, inside his waistband, and guess what? He went and got his MRI. For anybody who knows anything about an MRI, or when you go to a hospital, the first thing they tell you when you walk into a hospital, no weapons. No weapons. Second of all, when you go into an MRI, the first thing they tell you is no metal in your pockets. Anything metal has to come out. If you have anything medical that's metal in your body, you have to let them know. Why? Because the MRI is a big, giant effing magnet that spins in a circle and magnetizes everything by 140 thousandths. So this dumbass, and I say that, and I'm sorry he's dead, I'm sorry he's not with us, but this is a dumbass who, you know, he's one of these guys. I got my gun. I can bring my gun wherever I want. It's my right. He goes into his MRI with his gun. The magnetism pulls the trigger. No safety on. Gun goes off. Kills him. Not thinking about anybody in the building. Not thinking about the people who are running the MRI. Luckily, they weren't hurt, but he's dead. Leandro Mathias of Brazil is dead because of stupidity. And there's nothing else to say. Stupidity and ignorance. Dead dumbass.
I don't even think you can consider that an accident. That was just really dumb. I think that everybody who has ever watched TV, watched any movies, watched any television shows knows that you do not bring metal into the fucking room when you're getting an MRI. You just don't do that.
Dumb. Maggie Penny says true.
And
no
what
metal.
about what about the medical professionals? I mean, nobody checked. I've never had an MRI done fully clothed. I've always been in a gown. Is that not something they're doing at that hospital? I mean, like, really, who's really responsible for this? How did he even get into the hospital with a gun on him? There's security at the front door when you walk into the emergency room here in Brockton. You know what I mean? How did he get in with a gun? Like, there was a lot of questions that I'm asking, like, forget him being stupid and dying. How did he even get to that point where he could get into the room with the gun on his hip? I'm confused. There's just a lot of questions.
You know how it is. Some of these people have pieces, you know, it's probably a small gun or whatever, but he's dead now.
No, I don't. Have you ever had an MRI fully clothed?
Yeah. And like I said, it boggles my mind that someone who, you know, and this is the mentality of some of these 2A people out here. Trust me, I feel everyone has a right. I'm a firm believer in the Second Amendment, but again, this is why you just can't have constitutional carry and just let everybody just buy a gun and not have any training.
This isn't even about that. You're just not supposed to bring metal into the fucking MRI room. Like, forget anything else. It's metal. Are you kidding?
Look, I watched X-Men and I seen what Magneto did in one of the X-Men movies with people with guns, so I know what Magneto.
This boy said,
Y'all remember that part? Y'all remember when Magneto was looking for them Nazis and he went to the bar? Remember that scene when he went to the bar?
Yes,
Magneto was tough, boy.
Sir.
Tough. Magneto was tough. Bobby, DJ Boom said, my old boss had a tape measure ripped off his belt, standing 10 feet away from an MRI, and they were painting the room at Charlton Hospital. Correct. Yep. See? Craziness. Let's get into the legal
hospital.
Yeah, let's get into this story here. We're in the legal booth. Michelle's Wu financial director and community staple, Freda Brasfield, who everybody knows in Boston. This is a sad story. She is now relieved of her duty. She's no longer at City Hall. She's now been charged with money laundering and a prison drug scandal at MCI Shirley. What is going on is they're saying that she was laundering money through like Cash App and Venmo for her nephew who was in jail. Now, let's be honest, innocent till proven guilty. She may not have known what she was transferring for somebody. She might have thought somebody was in her, a family member's in jail. She might have thought she was just transferring that money, whatever. She may not have known what was going on. I don't know. But here's the problem. Problem is that they've connected it to drugs being smuggled in. How are they drugging the drugs in? I guess there's a $1,000 drug smuggling operation going on where they spray paper with this drug and they rip the paper and they sell it in prison, and guys are making upwards to $30,000 to $40,000 in prison selling these paper that's laced with this drugs.
My folks are smart as hell. They do anything to make money in there. You gotta love it, yo. Seriously, you gotta fucking love it.
So
yo,
here you are. You've got a paper.
You cannot be in a position of power like this, and especially people of color. Stop doing this. You cannot be in a position of power like this and think that you are gonna get away with the same kind of crimes that your white counterparts seem to get away with. And I feel like that's what happens. I feel like people of color are raising to a point of authority and they're having all this access to stuff. And they're thinking, well, Betty didn't get in trouble for laundering money last year. So why the fuck can't I do it?
But Bobby Boss, DJ Boom, he says, isn't that acid or LSD? Yeah, that's how you make acid and LSD. But they were putting some other drugs on it too. Ken Diesel said, Ken Diesel just chimed in. He says, this has affected legal mail as we now have to register our mail before we send it in. So I'm assuming Ken is talking about the prisons. I'm pretty sure Ken is now saying that's why they have to send all the mail registered. So Ken's on top of it.
Wait till they cancel out mail altogether, because now you can set up an email account and prisoners have access to email. So you can correspond with your loved ones that are locked up via email.
Look, I already heard about drones over the jails. I already heard about the big problem with drones flying over the prison yards and dropping cell phones for people at South Bay and all these other places.
Wildly crazy to me.
Yeah,
wildly crazy.
And the funny thing is, when I saw dudes posting on TikTok and getting caught, I was like, are these dudes are they that brazen in jail?
I know.
That they on TikTok in prison. That's ballsy as hell.
Well, not even. That's the thing. Like, how I understand how contraband can get smuggled into prisons. We all know how that happens. But like, to be going live and to be on Facebook and to be actively present on social media, how is your probation officer not seeing this? You know what I mean? Like, even in jail, you're going to be having to answer to somebody. How is that person not seeing what's going on while you're, publicly online? There's a timestamp. It's all recorded. Like, I just don't get how they're getting away with it.
It's crazy. Ken said smuggling cell phones is a major business. So Ken is aware. Again, he's a defense attorney. Robbie Mingle, what's going on? It's crazy. It's crazy. Let's move on to the next story. Here's the other story, people. Chilling timeline. And I talked about this with my guys, my attorneys last week on First Tuesdays. Lindsay Clancy, she is the mother who strangled her 3 kids, and they were using the defense of postpartum. Well, guess what? She had her time in court, and now, again, here we go. Text messages to the husband. A lot of people's idea of this is now changed. Ken says MSP sets up a sting at stores near prisons to look at cell phone smuggling. Oh, damn. So all these stores near prisons are all getting snatched up. Damn, crazy. Lindsay Clancy's timeline from her cell phone has been set. This may turn into premeditated murder of her 3 children. First of all, when they said she strangled her children, I thought she used her hands. She didn't. She took her workout exercise bands that you use on your legs and your arms to stretch. She twisted the exercise bands around her kids' necks, and the exercise bands slowly tightened and choked her kids to death. First and foremost. Secondly, she sent her husband purposely on a wild goose chase. She sent them to go to the store to get Miralax for kids, and then gave him the name of some type of over-the-counter medicine that wasn't real. So he was going back and forth to different stores, and she was texting him and say, well, check Walgreens, check this store. And here he is, he's out doing this, and during this time, she was home killing the kids. For people now, they're feeling like, wow, she planned this. This is premeditated. This isn't some off-the-cuff psychosis postpartum type thing. This woman planned this. Ken Diesenhof, Ken is saying it. Ken just said
they're saying that she planned it.
Yeah, they're saying she planned this.
But because of those text messages to keep him away from the house.
Yeah, and there's another thing. She looked up. There was something like this other guy with the wife. Her Google search, there were things she looked up. How long does it take to strangle someone? Blah, blah, blah. Maggie Pinney says psychotics can plan stuff, though. No, they can't. This is why she might be charged with murder. This is what they talked about in this case and why she now may be charged with murder. Psychotics I can't explain it. Ken's in the chat. Ken talked about it last week on this show, why he felt the psychotic is out, why Ken felt that this was. And Ken, you're in the chat. You can answer Maggie on that one, but they did get into that. Jeffrey Dahmer. But Jeffrey Dahmer was more than psychotic. He was more than psychotic. So there's a lot there. But Ken can explain
her
it.
Her defense is claiming that it's postpartum depression, you're saying?
Yes. Yep.
All right. So, and they're
psychosis.
saying that it may not be because while she was murdering her children, well, first, you know what I mean? Under all that stress, she had the wherewithal to look up how long it was going to take for her to strangle her children. And then she tried to keep her husband away from the house so that she could accomplish that. She could have all done that in one day. That doesn't mean that she premeditated anything. That means she snapped and did what people in our generation do, which is Google and look things up and research. I don't know how old the youngest child is and how long she's been
6 months.
suffering. So fair to say that she most very likely is going through postpartum depression and could also have premeditated this murder, but these murders. But to dismiss the fact that she completely premeditated and this is not a problem with her mental health is too dismissive. Not in that if she was at the 18-month mark with her postpartum depression, I would say yes. But, your body after 6 months is not back to the chemical balance that it was before you were pregnant. So, postpartum is a really difficult diagnosis. And a lot of women go through it. That separation anxiety is a real thing. I don't honestly think that it's just postpartum depression that would have made her murder all three of her children.
We got a lot of people in the chat. Ken Diesel.
Imagine how much strength it takes to just strangle somebody to death. And then to do that to your own child. Like, there has to be something wrong with you. Premeditated or not, there has to be something mentally wrong with you to put your hands or put a band around the person you gave birth to and watch the life go out of them. There's just no way. That's psychotic.
Right. Well, Ken's in the chat. Ken says, hold on. Senric Daniel, thank you for watching. Ken says, a person who's psychotic lacks impulse control. A person who is mentally ill will snap at the trigger. DJ Boom says, but when did she research this stuff? She researched it that day just before she killed them. She researched it.
Exactly what I just said.
It wasn't a week before, but they're still looking at premeditated. So that's kind of where we're headed. Right. Maggie says, yes, she never tried to kill her oldest two kids, age 3 and 5.
Correct,
maybe
but
3.
with every pregnancy is different.
Yes.
Everything you go through is different with every child. And we don't know what other things were going on in her life to contribute to her depression and mental state. I truly believe that things like this happen. You have to have had a psychotic break at some point. Premeditation to me is like planning, like serious, meticulous planning. I just think that if she did it all in a 24-hour time period, that's not premeditation. And it takes time to squeeze the life out of anybody. Never mind your own children that you gave birth to.
Yeah, and like I said, yeah, and Ken says it takes 10 pounds per inch to strangle someone. Like I said, yeah, she put her exercise bands around the neck.
Did he Google it? I bet you he Googled it in order to find that out.
Oh, he's a defense attorney, so I don't really want to ask. I don't really want to ask Ken that. we may get some answer. We may not want to know how Ken knows that answer. He's a defense attorney. I'm not about to ask Ken. Hey, Ken, how you know that? Nah, man. Nah, let Ken keep that to himself, bro. He's in here explaining now. He's like, you take the circumference of the neck times 10. Ken, I'm good. Ken, we love you as a defense attorney. Look, let's get into the entertainment booth. Rest in peace to Trugoy the Dove. He is the co-founder of De La Soul. De La Soul was actually supposed to be at the 50th hip hop celebration, and also De La Soul was about to go on tour. They were about to release a new album, and unfortunately, Trugoy the Dove has died, 54 years old. Hip-hop is losing a lot of legends that started this whole game back in the day, so rest in peace to my man, Trugoy the Dove. Also, Neo. Neo. Y'all ladies know Neo, the chronic cheater. You know, the guy who's been cheating on his wife from day one. And she got sick of it. She let him back, and 2 days after she let the dude back, she caught him. And she was like, you know what? I'm done. CJ, what's up, CJ? I see you in the chat. Lindsay, what's going on? And CJ says, I'm listening, and postpartum can lead to a psychotic mental break. Yeah, we discussed this. We're gonna follow this story as it goes, but there are some things that just came out in the news that they're disputing it now. So, but let's get on to Neo. Neo's divorce has been finalized. He will pay his ex-wife, Crystal Smith, $1.6 million. He also has to purchase her own new car. They gave her $150,000 for that. And then he has to pay $12,000 a month in child support for being a chronic cheater. And this is a bad one because Neil has been cheating on her from, like I said, from day one. And she took him back. And finally, you know, I mean, how many times do you let a dude go to the well before you say, you know what, B?
Listen, I say that cheating is a rich man's game. And as you can tell with Neo, he's paying. And this is what it comes down to. If you cheat on me, I'm going to hit you where it hurts, which is your wallet. Clearly, it's not hurting your feelings if I go out and fuck somebody else because you out here doing that. So I'm going to hit you where it hurts. And that's going to be your wallet.
Ken said men are pigs. And here's the thing. Neo writes all these love songs, all these great love songs, you know, and he be singing and everybody's like, oh, his wife is lucky. And here he is again. Like I said, she took him back, and 2 weeks later, she caught him cheating after she took him back into the house. 2 weeks later. That's crazy. That's crazy. And you got kids. Crazy. Oh my God. Let's also get into this one. We all watched the Super Bowl this weekend. Veana was the halftime performance. I tuned in, watched the Super Bowl. And y'all know about me and Riri. And I ain't gonna lie. When she came out, the first thing I said, damn, she got a lot of clothes on. Because Riri's always about the sexuality, the power. And I'm like, damn. And then I looked and I'm like, that looks like a baby bump. Sure enough, Veana's whole performance had social media abuzz. When I look at this performance, for me, I look at it from Rihanna the businesswoman and why she has a $1 billion industry. Everything she did, Veana did that night. Everything she did that night was tied into her brand and her business, and everybody questioned. First of all, I seen a lot of people out here on Facebook and stuff talking about lip syncing. Well, here's the thing, people. At the Super Bowl performance, everybody has to lip sync. You want to know why? Because the Super Bowl performance has to be flawless. The Super Bowl got tired of people's mics going out. They got tired of speakers going out. So everybody's performances at the Super Bowl are pre-recorded with backing vocals. So the performance is flawless at the vocal level. It's been that way. The NFL also has that rule because they've had artists who vary from their performance to say something political and then pisses people off. And then the NFL is out. So now they tell everybody you're lip syncing, so you can't do stuff like that. And we're going to give you a dead mic. So people who are talking about blame Veana and lip syncing, it's not her choice. It's an NFL rule. It's the NFL don't want nobody singing. They've got their rules. It goes all the way back to Janet Jackson and the 7-second delay that's been put into place. They don't want nothing to happen. They don't want a crappy performance with mics going out. So that
she's
right
not
there
lip
is
syncing. She's not lip syncing to the original tracks either. She had to perform that music in the stadium, and they recorded it there so that it could be redone. You know what I mean? Like in live, artists perform that. That's all rehearsed. You know what I mean? Like this was completely, like you said, they've been doing this for years. They had to take control of the content somehow. They couldn't have people veering off script.
Yeah, and then that's what it is. Number two, people were talking about the fact that she wasn't moving around. She wasn't this. She's 6 months pregnant. What do you want? She's on a platform 6 months in the sky. You're there to protect your baby. She don't care. Then somebody said, well, she had the nerve to take a break and put makeup on. You know what that was? That was because Avon was bashing the crap out of her leading up to this Super Bowl. So her FU to Avon was, okay, here you go, Avon. I'm going to stop during my set. I'm going to pull out my brand new Fenty and put my makeup on with my Fenty. And then here's what I'm going to do. After the Super Bowl's over, I'm going to tell everybody to buy that Fenty that you just saw me with on the Super Bowl through the text messages and emails to buy this at 20 or 30 or whatever % off her members of Fenty get. Boom. I would love to know how many of those sold. Veana hit me up right off the bat. She's like, oh, I got this. It wasn't even, I don't even think it was it wasn't even 5 minutes after she got done?
Right after she got off stage, I got a text message for Savage Fenty.
It was all strategy. And then everybody here was talking about what she had on. I saw someone talking about she was worshiping Satan and she was wearing red and all this stuff. No, she wasn't. This is why she was wearing red. Andre L. Talley, he is a designer, a clothing designer. He passed away back in January, a year of the date. So she wanted to wear the jacket that he had because he was one of the fashion designers that she respected. So she wore his jacket that night during her performance to pay tribute to him. So all you people out there who were talking about that with her and him and being the satanistic, here you go.
Sit down.
Sit down. Sit down. Leave Veana alone. Leave her alone. Because she about to make all that money.
Baby.
She about to make all that money. All that money. And Veana, tell him, you're a performer. It's all about the brand. Everything she did that night was all linked to her brand at the end of the day.
Listen, the fact of the matter is Rihanna never has to step on stage or make another record again. So the fact that she came out and did what she did was for her fans. Her fans have been asking her for an album for 7 years. She's not doing it. All right. And she got knocked up again. So guess what? She said, yes, I'll do this show, but it's going to be on my terms. And she was lifted up off the air. They harnessed her in. She paid tribute to a designer that she loved. She's an artist. She can express herself any freaking way that she wants to because she can afford it. She's got $1 billion fucking dollars.
And then during the Super Bowl, I was made a hypocrite. I was made a big ass hypocrite because I'm about to show you this trailer. This trailer is DC's The Flash. And yes, DC did it again. They stole a plot from Marvel. They're bringing people back. But here's the thing. You know, I bash Ezra Miller on this show for his legal problems. Ezra Miller just actually came back and pled guilty. And I'm pretty sure he pled guilty because they knew that they were going to drop this trailer at the Super Bowl and said, hey, we're giving you a second chance, this movie. And now, after seeing this trailer for The Flash, if you haven't seen it yet, you're going to see why DC didn't scrap this movie, why DC didn't dump this movie. And I'll tell you right now, DC didn't scrap this movie because of Ezra Miller and his little white ass. It had nothing to do with Ezra Miller. The reason why DC didn't drop this movie is right here. Here's the trailer for you. The official Super Bowl trailer for the Flash movie comes out in June. Pay close attention, people. Here we go.
Tell me something. You can go anywhere. Another timeline. Another universe. So why do you want to stay and fight to save this one?
Because this is the world where my mom lives. I'm not gonna lose her again. Time has a pattern that it can't help reliving. Different people, different worlds, drawn to each other like magnets. It's my face. You stole my face.
If you were to go into the past, you have no idea what the consequences can be.
Bruce, I could fix things.
You could also destroy everything.
This can't be happening. I completely broke the universe.
Zod, we've been waiting for you.
I created a world with no metahumans. And now there's no one to defend us.
Want some help?
Oh. You are?
Yeah. I'm Batman.
If I can't undo what I did, if I can't get back, there might not be a future. What's the play? Batman, what do we do?
We try not to die.
It's not Clark.
My name is Kara.
I'm Barry. We're Barry. Barry, what are you doing? Our kids are gonna want to see this.
There you go, people. That is the reason why DC was not scrapping this movie over Ezra Miller's legal trouble. Michael Keaton back as Batman? Michael Keaton back as Batman? Supergirl? And the timeline is when Superman and Zod comes to Earth. Oh, man, I'm a hypocrite. Because I was bashing Ezra Miller. I was talking about DC should have scrapped this movie. How do you let this movie come up with this man's legal problems? I was talking about on this show. I'm a hypocrite. You can call me a hypocrite right now. You can call me Keith, Sinister One, Hayes, the hypocrite. Because on June 16th, my ass is going to be planted in the movie theater with a big-ass bucket of popcorn with lots of butter, watching this Flash movie and seeing Michael Keaton as Batman. Trust and believe me. Oh.
That part.
When I seen the trailer, I was like, Michael Keaton is back as Batman? Oh, hell no. I was screaming in my living room. Screaming in my living room. That shit is going to be insane. Even Maggie Penny's in it. She's like, Michael Keaton. What's up, Mo? What's up, Crystal? Thank you for tuning in. Let's get into the sports booth. Northeastern clinched the Bean Pot, number 70. 70th annual Bean Pot was this past weekend. Northeastern upset the number 9 Harvard and took the championship. It's a Boston thing, so the Bean Pot's a Boston thing, but they took it. David John Kendrick, what's up? I see you in the chat. He says, can I go? Sorry, you cannot go because you bashed the Star. Ken says, I bashed the Star. I can't go. Congrats to the Northeastern team for winning the Bean Pot. This is a big event every year. And to upset Harvard, the number 9 Harvard, and take home that title, big ups to them. Also, if you guys didn't see it yet, I got to hear for you real quick. Benifer. I talked about this on the show about 3-4 weeks ago. The Dunkin' Donuts near my job was closed. Well, actually, it wasn't closed. It was actually open. But they filmed the Dunkin' Donuts Super Bowl commercial with Benifer. Now, I thought just Ben Affleck was there. I come to find out, J-Lo was down the street from my job for the filming of this commercial. And it's actually pretty funny. They had last night, they had during the Super Bowl. Here's the Dunkin' Donuts ad, because Boston represented once again for Super Bowl ads. So here is the Boston Dunkin' Donuts ad with Ben Affleck working drive-through to unsuspecting customers in the morning that day. Just blocks from my job. Here we go.
Welcome to Dunkin', a new special. Dunkin' Run, medium or large coffee, get a donut for an incremental $1. Like, how can it be this inexpensive and good?
Cream, no sugar.
I'm just gonna have to just give you 10 munchkins. You look a little lost. 1 second, I'm trying to find the bagels. Do I look familiar? Oh. Should I be in it, or do you want just a self-portrait?
What are you doing here?
Ask me if I like
Is this what you do when you say you're going to work all day?
I gotta go, guys.
Grab me a glazed.
J-Lo was at Dunkin' Donuts, and I'm sticking with my word, guys.
I'm loving it.
I'm sticking with it. J-Lo, she's been with a lot of people, man. And I if you're a guy out there, and if she was to break up with Benifer, and they were to break up, I think every guy out there has a chance. Because J-Lo is one of them people, if you just catch her on the right day, she's going to date you.
You wish. You fucking wish.
That's my feeling. Also in Boston Super Bowl ads, this was one of the funniest ads of the night. Samuel Adams, your cousin from Boston, ad. This ad here featured your cousin from Boston. He actually gets the brand new Brighter Ale Samuel Adams, which causes him to daydream about a brighter, nicer Boston. And it has all these scenes of Boston where everybody is super, super nice. Here it is for you. Check out this. This is Boston as a brighter, happier community. Here we go. This Super Bowl ad for Boston killed it.
Sam Adams Boston Lager. Now brighter?
Oh, imagine that. A brighter Boston.
A brighter Boston. Your cousin from Boston.
Morning, neighbor.
Huh?
Take the parking spot. You take the parking spot. I insist. No, I insist.
Hey, what do you want to do?
What?
Welcome to Boston. We love New Yorkers here.
Hey, you want to go to the ballet? Dump them.
Recycling. Takes all of us.
Hey, when you're finished with that can, put it over here.
We only got one planet.
And why talk trash? You can spread love. Thank you. Spread love, spread love, spread love.
Hey, genius. Your card declined.
Oh, okay, just got to call my mom. All right. Be right back. Boston Lager, now brighter. Sam Adams, baby.
Oh my God, that was awesome, people. Awesome Super Bowl commercial. Boston's been featured in Super Bowl commercials, I want to say 4 years in a row now. Don't forget, we had a car one that featured all of the actors from Boston one year at the Super Bowl, and that was pretty funny. But this one here, this took the cake. This actually was better than the Dunkin' commercial. The kid that plays this role, your cousin from Boston, the Sam Adams commercials, he's dead on. But it was a great ad. Everybody's still in the chat. Jesus, Brenda, what's going on? Thank you for being in the chat. Ken Diesel says, dude, put down the pipe and step away. Also in the Super Bowl, as we all know, 35-38 was the final score. People were pissed off because Kansas City was able to be put into field goal range to win the game due to a holding call that even Tom Brady says it was easier to not call that call. My thing is that, yeah, it was a holding call. Yeah, you can call it, but the problem with me is that the Super Bowl is 60 minutes. You can't allow the guys to play for 58 minutes, not calling any flags and just letting the guys play. Then with 2 minutes to go, the game on the line, you want to throw a flag on a ticky-tack holding call. Really? You let these guys play for 58 minutes and now you want to pull a flag out and throw it? And that decides the game? Come on now.
Why not? Why not?
Come on now, NFL.
Explain. I don't know. I don't get it. Explain it to me. Explain to those people who don't watch sports what the big damn deal is.
It's been a deal all season. The referee situation has been bad. The calls have been bad. This catch thing where my feeling is that, you know, there was a catch that was out of bounds, but then they said when he hit the ground, he didn't really have control. Well, here's my thing. A catch out of bounds has always been, as long as you've got 2 feet in and you've got possession of that ball in your hands, that's a catch. It doesn't matter what happens when you hit the ground or whatever. When you've got 180, 200-pound safety on your back and you hit the ground and now the ball seems like it jiggles or comes loose and you want to say that's not a catch, that's BS to me. So I think there's some of these things, when they have the meetings, the owner meetings that are coming up this offseason, I think refereeing is going to be number one on the board. They've got to get consistent. Referees have to be consistent across the board. You can't have, they were like, out of this 17-week season, so certain calls can be challenged, certain calls can't be challenged. Oh my God, hey guys, I just got an award from Restream, and I got to thank everybody. This is the first time ever on the booth in the chat that we've gone over 100 live messages in the chat. So everybody who's in the chat right now, who's dropping stuff and talking about this show, thank you very much. Brenda says, did you see them all slipping on the turf when it wasn't supposed to be turf? No, what it was, Brenda, is that they had Arizona's climate sucks, and it's hard to grow grass in Arizona. They were given 2 years. 2 years the NFL gave them to get grass grown for this Super Bowl. Guess what? They failed the assignment. The grass was not ready to go. It was horrible, and it was even worse after the halftime performance because of the divots and stuff that were in the ground. So it was horrible. It was horrible, and Arizona is horrible. But referees, inconsistent. That's going to be addressed. It's going to be addressed this season. So Biden bombshells. We're getting ready to wind down this show. Former South Carolina governor Nikki Haley has announced that she is going to run for president in 2024, representing the Republican Party. I cannot wait to hear what Donald Trump has to say because this announcement just came out today, and I've already said it. For every person who comes out with the GOP, I already feel DeSantis is getting the nod. I already feel that Governor DeSantis in Florida is getting the nod. But Nikki Haley's already come out, and I'm sure that Trump's people have already said, don't make any comments, don't say any crap, because she's a woman and you're gonna lose some of your votes in 2024 if he comes out and talks bad about Nikki Haley. But it's going to get interesting because she is the first one to announce. Democrats haven't announced anybody yet. Biden is saying that he's going to run again. Biden's not going to be the guy. He's not going to be. He can say all he wants, but Biden's not going to be the guy for the Democrats in 2024. It's going to be somebody else. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Hakeem Jeffries they start pushing around because everybody seems to like Hakeem Jeffries out of New York. So we'll see. Kenneth Diesenhof says, Arizona's a freaking desert. What the F did you expect? I know. I know, Ken. I know that the climate is not, you can't grow grass there. I just don't know why they just didn't go with the synthetic turf. I don't even know why they tried to make grow grass there. They should have just went with the fake grass like they got at Gillette and all these other stadiums. So I don't know. DJ Boom says, you're never going to get that. It's a job done by people and people are never consistent. Oh, he's talking about the referees. Yeah, I got people who said that. Kenneth Diesenhof says, the governor for Florida not get elected a dog catcher outside of Florida. He's talking about DeSantis. Also in the Biden bombshells, look. Government, let me look to my government out there.
Do something else! Do something else! That's it! That's all we want! Do something else! Holy stop doing that! Stop!
Here's what I'm telling the government to stop doing. And stop doing that, okay? 3 weeks ago, we had a Chinese weather balloon that came over our airspace and we shot it down. Since that time we shot this Chinese balloon down, the government has now shut down 3 more objects unidentified that are not weather balloons. Now, here's the thing that people don't realize. 2 years ago, the Department of Defense opened up this group, and they have now said 2 years ago that they were no longer going to keep UFOs, which is unidentified flying objects. It doesn't have to mean aliens, but they weren't going to keep that from the public. Let me break this down as to why we are going to see more and more stories like this of the government shooting down unidentified flying objects. Why? Because years and years and years ago, we weren't Big Brother, and I've said this on this show before. Everybody has an effing cell phone in their lives. Everybody has a cell phone. Everybody has this. Everybody has that. We've had cases of things that don't even involve UFOs that have changed history. Because years ago, everything was word of mouth. Everything was hearsay. Everything that people saw, if there was no video of it or anything, it was dismissed. It never happened. We didn't know. George Floyd. The only reason why George Floyd became the story that it became was because people had his death and murder on their cell phones. And then it went socially viral. And then people began to ask questions. This would have been another case where we would have heard about a black man getting killed by cops, but there was no proof. You see what I'm saying? George Orwell wrote the book 1984 back in the day about Big Brother. In the book, George Orwell's 1984, Big Brother was the government. No. Today, Big Brother is us. We are Big Brother. We are the ones who are the narrative. The young black man who was killed down in Georgia, who was chased down and killed in the middle of the street. Cell phone. So what's happening is that as we watch TikTok, as we watch Twitter, as we watch Facebook, a lot of people now, when they see lights or things in the sky, they're posting their videos. And guess what? People are asking questions to the point now where you've got ex-Air Force people, you've got commercial airline pilots now talking about, and on their TikToks talking about the things that they've seen while flying planes years ago we would be dismissed because guess what? There was no proof of this stuff. Nobody had videos. Now we've got videos every week, every month, every year. There's some video that the government cannot dismiss now. Lights, things moving in the sky that don't look like planes. So what the government has decided to do, the DOD 2 years ago said, guess what? We're going to start answering a lot of these videos and start checking on this stuff. And guess what? They're shooting down shit now in the airspace. And people, It's not some conspiracy theory. It's not the Blue Angel Project, whatever somebody else was saying out there. This is just the government saying, hey, we can't keep up with Big Brother. We have to answer this, and this is what's going to happen. And they're going to start shooting stuff down, and then it's going to turn into, well, it was this, or well, it was that. And we're going to see people. And as I posted this week, if the U.S. government wants to be nice and start releasing information about UFOs, hey, Great Britain, I want to see some Nessie photos. I want to see Loch Ness. I need some Nessie photos, some videos.
I just want to let the aliens know that I do not co-sign our government shooting down unidentified objects in the sky. I am on your side, so please do not take your anger out on me. Go right to Washington, D.C. That's where they make it all the decisions, okay? That's where all the orders are coming from. So if you have beef with anybody, that's the address. I just
because
that's where
if the aliens are coming, I'm gonna have to get Will Smith on speed dial. And I don't think
maybe he'll slap the shit out of somebody. Maybe we can just send him down to Washington, D.C. and he can slap the fuck out of somebody.
What's going on, Glenn? What's going on? And if the aliens are coming, I don't think Joe Biden can give a hell of a speech like Bill Pullman did in Independence Day.
I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. I believe you cannot, as a human being on this planet, be so arrogant into thinking that the earth and everything that we know is all that could possibly be in the entire universe. Okay? You can't be that arrogant.
Yeah, it's ignorance.
You have to understand that our government has been hiding things from us for years. Of course, there's aliens. Of course, there's evidence of it. They've just been hiding it. You know what I mean? And they've been trying to tell us. Hollywood's been trying to tell us for years. I say this to people all the time. Pay attention to what they're trying to entertain us with. So a lot of those entertainers have privileged information, and that's how they get it out to the general public. All right. I'm prepared for the zombie apocalypse. I have my itinerary. I know my contingency plan. I know whose house I'm linking up with first. My kids know the first things that they need to do if we are separated at any point in time. Trust me. Yo, seriously, don't come and fuck with us. Go right down to Washington, D.C. What is it? 1600
Pennsylvania Avenue.
What's the address? 1600
Pennsylvania Avenue. Ken Diesenhof says, if it bleeds, we can kill it. If it bleeds, we can kill it. Before we get ready to get out of here, we've had a great show. And it's been a laugh. We got about 3 minutes left before Matty C's Sports for You and Me kicks off the
Shout
Triple
out
Threat
to Matty
Tuesday.
C. He's one of my biggest supporters.
Yeah, so V, let them know what you got coming up. You got this album released, but you got a couple of singles that you're working on behind the scenes with some people like I'll let you mention it.
I do. I wasn't even expecting to do any new music. I have some tracks that I have coming in for my new project for not this year, but next year. But in the process of doing that, I've linked up with Infamous Ma, who was a guest on your show a couple weeks ago. Shout out to her. She just did the Grind Mode Cypher, so you can look out for that. That's going to be posted soon. And I linked up with Massachusetts artist Tommy Tony for a surprise single. I just went in one day. He heard the beat. He heard what I laid down. He's like, yo, we can make this a song. And I was like, all right, cool, let's do it. So we did that. And we're going to probably be releasing that within the next few weeks. I got a fashion show that I'm going to be walking in May with Latin Caviar. Shout out to Latin Caviar. And D. Gomez, he's a producer and videographer out in Dorchester. So, you know, and we do have some more stuff coming, but, you know, we can't give away all of our secrets.
And as far as me, people, just to give you a heads up, I know usually you guys see me and V around. You see me DJing. Spring and summer's coming up. Usually I'm doing some weddings and things. Unfortunately, due to this being hit by this car on Friday night, as far as DJing, I'm going to say that I'm probably not going to be able to DJ at least until August. So anybody who had hit me up and took deposits for, I actually had to give deposits back to people because I can't lug anything around. And anybody who's seen me DJ, they know I get kind of crazy jumping around up there, and I'm not gonna sit there and stand still like a statue, and DJ somebody's wedding and event. That's not happening. If I can't give you 100%, I'm not doing it. So anybody who was out here and thought I was gonna be doing some stuff, the DJ end is not there. You'll probably see me at some of these events. I actually know I spoke with V about fingers crossed. The Cape Verdean Festival is here in Brockton every year. It's a pretty big event. When the time comes, we're looking to submit Veana Marie to perform at the Cape Verdean Festival in Brockton this year. So our fingers are crossed for that. Hopefully by the time Prova rolls back around in September and in late August, hopefully I will be able to do Prova. But as far as March, April, and May, I'm going to say it's a wrap until I even find out what happens with this MRI for my knee. So I want to thank everybody for the support. I got to thank everybody who supports with these beanies over here. I got to support the shows that I produce. Natty C Sports for You and Me. He's on right now. So you want to get ready to head over and check him out. Happy Hour with Lito, Kevin Jeffries, and then Drafting the Circuits tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, live. Oscar Mike Radio, Thursday nights. Check them out. Alchemy, that was the event that happened this past weekend with Terminology, and all those guys had performed, and she had did her
Infamous Mom.
Yeah, she's not on. Why wasn't she on the? I'm looking at this here. She wasn't on this banner.
She wasn't on the flyer because it was made before she got added on. They added her on after the fact.
I was looking for her. Yeah,
because she's dope.
Yeah, and then the Valentine's All Day Jam. Veana Marie was supposed to perform this past Sunday night. I'm not even sure if it did go down, but again, I was injured, so everybody was focused on me this weekend, and I appreciate everybody showing the love and stuff. So she was not able to perform, but we do have February 25th, Black History Skate Night up at the Carousel Family Fun Center. I'm not going to be getting on any skates now, definitely, but Veana Marie might be there. She might be on some skates. So it's Black History 90s Night. It's all 90s music. February 25th, 7 to 10. I'm pretty sure we're going to be in the house, but you're not going to see me on any skates. Also, February 25th, PBR Velocity Tour. Maddie Cameron and his wife, Ashley, they're going to be there covering this event on the 25th. You guys saw it, and you also saw the interview with Grayson Cole at the beginning of the show. So thank you for the PBR. And Steve Rita, flag giveaway. If you know anybody in the community for Black History Month who supports the Black community, I need you guys to start nominating people who deserve one of these flags. Somebody who helps the Black community for Black History Month. Steve Reeder is going to make them a custom flag and hand deliver it. I've got two people in mind right now that I would like to nominate. Mario Lamar. Mario has been a young kid in the Boys and Girls Club. He came up. He's been doing stuff for the community. This kid has been doing stuff since he was like 10 years old. And I think he should be recognized for what he does. Newbie Rateau is another person who does stuff. John C. There's a lot of people, but I would say right now, Mario is my front runner for people who should be nominated to receive this flag. Sammy Sergio, we got to get down to the club. We got to get down the street. It's right down the street. There's no excuse. Yes, this is a setback for me, but there are some things that we could probably still come down there and do this summer as we discussed. Sammy, Gigi's Lounge is right down the road from us, so we're going to get together and get down there and talk with him. Also, Strength in Numbers, March 3rd, Infamous Ma, she'll be performing.
Wait, is he only giving away one flag, or is he giving away numerous flags?
One flag, one person.
Okay.
So we got to nominate somebody in Brockton who deserves it. So everybody out there, Maggie, all you people watching. Also, Strength in Numbers, Infamous Ma, she was on the show 2 weeks ago. Check her out. There's all of her stuff right there. Thank you for coming on the show. And that's about it. We got to get ready to get out of here. Sammy Sergio says, wish you best, my friend. Thank you, Sammy. Brenda Rose says, Keith, you got 9 lives, I'm telling you. Yep, Brenda was on the phone. I had a bad car accident, and she was with my kid's mother. They were out, and they got the call that I was in a car accident. So, yeah. You know, I'm glad you all were here. And great show tonight. And thank you for everybody in the chat. We went over 100 messages in the chat tonight. This was crazy. Ken Diesel, who's usually on here first of the month, he's in the chat dropping knowledge. Right. Everybody who's in the chat. Ken. Yeah, man. And Grayson Cole from the PBR. Good stuff. And hey, I got to get ready to get out of here. So SpongeBob, can you do me a favor, SpongeBob? Can you just take us home?
See you next Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to The Booth on Hoobazoo and HatcherRadio.com. Please follow the Facebook page and subscribe to the podcast at Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. The Booth is a Sinister One production hosted by Sinister One.
I've got to start hanging out with friends that are a little more intelligent and understand politics and stuff. It's just that I'm up on this level up here, and all my friends are down here. Me, nah. You guys, nah. Maybe a little more down in here. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
I smoke, I drink, I do my thing. These bitches hating, so you know I got to make it plain. Don't do cocaine with your chick, my main. We stick together, true forever, yeah, you know we bang. I miss those days, which was easy. If only I make it, keep this shit on repeat. Now that I done upgraded, I've been upstate, and y'all think I'm playing. And I got a hit now for these weak assholes who think I ain't slaying. Try me, and I'll probably end up laughing, cause I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip. I don't need that shit, it's like I'm my own now. I get hurt, I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, cause on everything, I'ma have to bring the whole city out.
WHOOBAZOO, that's Hoobazoo.com.
Enter website.